Welcome to 2022, everybody. Be honest, how many people have bought seeds already? Or had seeds given to them? Because, you know, gardeners love to share stuff. I already have my giveaway done, which has prompted this video because I sent you all seeds, but I didn't say anywhere in that package I sent you how to be successful at growing them. So that's why I'm doing this video. Plus, I think it's helpful because my sister even called me this morning and was asking me about her vegetable garden and setting it up, and she's going to get seeds and it's February, and I'm like, whoa, put the brakes on for a minute. I love that you're excited, but you gotta kind of know what you're doing, when you're gonna do it, how to read the seed packets, set yourself up for success. And that's what I'm gonna do for you guys. I'm gonna kind of lay this out. There's a lot to seed starting. Some of it's super easy. Some of it is it can be as complicated as you want it to be, but you can be successful either way. So let's start with the ways that you can grow seeds to begin with. 1, winter sowing. Super easy. You basically create little mini greenhouses and you let nature grow the seed for you. You stick them outside right now, like February, March, anytime you want to put them out there, and nature will actually let them grow naturally. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to invest in lights. Very basic. Also, some seeds want to just be planted in the ground. They don't want to be started indoors. They do much better being planted directly in the dirt when the time is right. Third way is to start your seeds indoors. If you are like me, you live in a climate where you don't have a long growing season, you have a very short growing season, and that means the seeds that take the longest to grow and to mature, where you're going to get a harvest, need a little bit of a jump start, and they don't mind being jump started. As a matter of fact, if you don't do that, you're going to have a harvest way into September, October when the weather starts to cool, and that's not always a good thing. So what I'm going to do today is outline the basics for each of those ways to sow your seeds. Decide which way is best for you, which way the seed wants to be grown, and then you will be set up for success. Winter sowing. Super easy. Now's probably a good time to talk about prepping the containers for winter sowing. So winter sowing is a good idea for people who do not have indoor grow lights, who don't want to invest the money for the indoor grow light setup, and who just want the ease of not having a place to grow your plants. And it's a lot simpler because you basically take simple containers that you probably use every day, like milk jugs, like juice cartons, anything that's clear or opaque like this, and you get to make this into a little mini greenhouse and plant your seeds outside in the container. You get this all prepped and ready to go, which I'm going to show you how to do, and then you leave them outside and nature will take its course. Do I have one? I have one prepped already. This looks really kind of wacky, but I will tell you, this is what is going to make your life easier if you do not want to invest in grow light setups, because they're pretty expensive. Or if you don't have the space to grow plants inside and coddle them and baby them. Or if you have seeds that require cold stratification. And that means they need a period of cold weather and thaws and freezes and thaws and freezes to actually break dormancy. This is a super easy way to have that happen without you having to wet your seeds, put them in the fridge for a certain amount of time, take them out, hope they sprout. Nature does it all for you. It's just like growing them outside, only you are going to manage where you get to transplant them because you have them in a nice little container when they're ready to go. Other good thing about winter sowing, when these babies are up and ready, they're already acclimated to outdoor temperatures, the outdoor swings from daytime to nighttime. So these can go right in the garden whenever you're ready and your soil is workable. Super easy.
So it's just going to look like the milkman isn't doing his job and coming back and picking up the recyclables, right?
Yep. My dad always told me I was from the milkman.
Yeah, well,
I resent the guy.
I think you look more like Mr. Electrolux.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well.
Thanks. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about the container prep, because this is super important. What's going to happen is we're going to end up filling this with soil, getting our seeds in there, and then we duct tape around where we've cut. And that is going to keep this back into shape until these little babies sprout. Another important key to winter sowing properly, the drainage holes. If you have flimsy containers like milk containers, you really need to use something like a wood burning tool. That's what we use. And it kind of just melts the holes in so you don't destroy your milk containers. Put a few along the upper edge of the bottom, like here. And then you can riddle the bottom with holes because it needs the drainage.
And make sure you wash out your milk jug so it doesn't smell like burnt cottage cheese.
That is true. I'm pretty good about that because I know I'm going to be using them though.
Plus, it's cool when you make milk jug monsters for the kids. Kind of gets them into it.
Yes. Except this part, I don't want them helping me. One, because we have a super hot tool, and if I know our kids,
well,
someone will end up with a blister.
We're making monsters right now.
So real quick, you're going to hold the handle. This is actually pretty easy. And sort of like common sense, I would hope that you are going to use this and cut around and under the handle. It just makes it easier if you're not going to disconnect the top altogether. So find a spot underneath the handle and you are just going to sink this little razor blade in and cut as straight as you possibly can. It's not always easy with these, but I think I've done enough of these to finally do it a little more confidently. And then as you get down to the handle, you're going to leave like this little 1 to 2 inch attachment. At least I do, because I kind of like the fact that I can bend this backward and you'll have a growing. So once they start sprouting, if you have beautiful days, you can actually flip these back. And then if it's going to be a cold night, you can put these here. You can put the lid back on to protect them because it acts like a greenhouse. It kind of holds the heat in, it protects them from frost. And that is the beauty about winter sowing. So now we have our nice little handy dandy container ready. You really want kind of about 4 inches in the bottom of this at a minimum to hold soil, because you do, when they do sprout, you want the roots to have a little bit of soil to get established in. The better the root system, the better they do in general. So we're gonna put some holes in this baby. Super easy.
Don't try this at home, but yet again, we want you to do this at home, right?
Yes, without hurting yourself. But this is a lot easier than taking a hammer and a nail or a drill, because it's really not that great of plastic. And then I'm going to put a couple around the edges here just to help with the drainage, because the last thing you want is your seedlings to drown.
Shouldn't you be holding your breath at this point?
Yeah, well, I hold my breath on a lot of things.
Yeah.
All right, so there we have it.
So
that we're going to do that for every container.
How does the dirt not come out of the bottom of that?
It doesn't. Even if you get a little bit, it's not that big of a deal.
Have you ever dumped out milk just so you could get a jug? Be honest.
Maybe like an inch of milk.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything you're going to drink or...
Did you do it Tuesday morning, possibly?
Why? Did you?
Because I had to eat cream of wheat with no milk. It was horrible.
So that's how you prep the containers. Next.
So do you do that with the other jugs too? Just kind of make holes in the bottom of them?
Yes. I mean, same thing. They just don't have a handle, so you have to sort of detach them entirely. Or you could cut around 3 sides and then just bend it backward. But this is a lot tougher than this. So for me, it's easier just to cut it off and then tape it around. Also, supplies you need. You need a good seed starting mix or a germination mix. I'm not promoting this, but this is what I have, but this is what it says. Germination or seedling mix. That is going to help your sprouts send the roots down instead of having a compacted, hard potting soil. You can use potting soil. You're not going to have terrible luck with potting soil, but you get better germination and better establishment with the roots if you use a lighter, sort of more fluffy soil.
Is there a specific milk carton we got to use? Like 2% whole milk? Does it matter?
I'm not answering you.
All right.
But thank you for trying to add your 2 cents in. Anyway, so the soil, yes, and what you want to do, we're going to pre-moisten some soil. We're going to pot up. So let's talk about, while I'm doing this, I'm going to grab my handy dandy container of soil, which is in a fancy bin like this. So we're going to empty the soil.
This is where the furnace room becomes the mud room.
Oh, I've made some mad messes in here.
And you're cleaning it this time.
I always clean it.
No, you don't.
That's
you
offensive.
do a
No,
half-assed job, and then I have to clean
That's
it.
offensive, because if you did do it, I wouldn't give you a hard time about that comment, but I clean up my mess.
Yeah.
I gotta get some water.
You didn't clean up the dog crap you stepped in last night.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, it was traumatic for me. The guy who had to come in after. Thanks.
Oh, yes. Pugs are lazy.
Yeah.
Pugs are absolutely lazy in the winter. If you're used to wetting and like mixing your germination mix, where are my gloves? Here they are. Then you know there's no real recipe or amount for adding water to your soil. You just start with some and you mix it up. And then you add a little more. You'll kind of know.
What are all those little white things in that soil?
Perlite.
Perlites?
Perlite.
Oh.
It helps with drainage. It's like little mini lightweight rocks that allow water to flow out easily, and it keeps your soil light and airy.
So what does stirring it up do? Does that like get the organic matters working and stuff, or are you just squishing that?
So if you've ever tried to start seeds and you fill the tray with dry potting mix, you know what's going to happen? When you go to water that tray, the water is going to bubble at the top. It's going to dislodge your seeds all over the place. It's not going to sink in. If you want your seeds and your soil to stay where you put it when you pot it up, you must pre-moisten it. So see how it's staying together? That's the general rule of thumb. If you squeeze it and it stays together but still crumbles, you're good. You don't want it any more wet than that. This is perfect. This is pre-moistened. This is enough moisture to get your seeds started. And then nature's gonna take its course. So once you have a good amount pre-moistened, let's get this out of the way. Now you get to have fun and make a mess. So our prepped containers, take handfuls, in it goes. And you want a good amount. You almost want right up to that lip of where the container is, like that. If you just slam it down, don't push it down to compact it. Just slam your container down on the table and it will all settle nicely. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna plant seeds. And this is how easy it is. This is the hardest part of it, is prepping the containers, to be honest. And keeping the little gnats out of there. But if they get in there and I stick them outside, they're gonna freeze their little butts off, which sort of semi brings me pleasure. Isn't that terrible? So anyway, couple things to note. Mark your containers. Do not use a Sharpie because it is going to weather the elements outside. It is also going to be subjected to sunlight, which is going to fade it. If you're smart, you will write on the inside. You'll also label it and use a garden marker. This one works really well. I've used these for years. I think there's another one. I can't remember the company name now. But they also have them, instead of having such a thick tip, they have little ones where you can write on the actual tags inside. So you're going to want to do that as you're planting the seeds. You need to mark your containers. If you think you're going to remember what they are, you might be able to figure it out. But if you're going to grow, like, you'll be able to figure it out by what the leaves look like. But if you're growing multiple varieties of the same thing, let's say you're doing red, white, and blue poppies, you're definitely going to want to label because they're all going to come up looking like poppies. So what I'm going to do is label. I'm going to do purple poppies in here. So I'm labeling the label and I'm writing in here, purple poppies. And these are the Lawrence Grape Purple Poppies that I gave away in the seed giveaway. We're also going to direct sow some of those. So there's a difference between winter sowing and direct sowing. I'm also going to show you what to do for direct sowing. That is super easy, and you can do it now. Out in the snow, in the freezing temperatures, because they need it. They will not break dormancy unless they have a cold period. So in goes my little label. My poppies are labeled here. You can also label the outside if you don't feel like reading your words backward. Purple poppies. Up to you how many times you want to write it. And then you take your seeds. Here's the thing about seeding inside. You can seed as much as you want. Don't seed it too thickly, because then they're all going to fight for space. They're going to fight for root germination and root space. And you don't want that. So if you were part of the giveaway, you got a little container, a little baggie that said purple poppy seeds on it. I'm going to use those. There are a ton. This may not look like a lot of seeds, but this is a ton of seeds. This will probably sow at least 25 milk jug containers of purple poppies. But these are easy enough also to just sprinkle outside, because that's what I do. And I'm going to do this just for the sake of showing you guys. So just take a pinch of these seeds, and we are going to just sprinkle them around. And that right there is probably like a couple hundred seeds. So those are going to come in kind of thick, but as they come up, you can also pinch off the green sprouts if they're next to another one, and choose which ones you're going to keep. That's also an easy way to thin out. So that's it. That is going to go. Those seeds are so tiny, they need kind of light to germinate also. So you're just going to leave them on the top. They're going to do their thing.
So you just close the top and put them outside.
Well, you close the top. I have to clean this off a little bit. I have to go get, actually, can I have that rag down there? Clean it up a little bit. Make sure it's nice and dried off.
So this soil you're using, you said it's organic? Has to be organic, or,
No.
or seed starting?
It doesn't have to. I use organic stuff, but you don't have to. I just prefer it. I think it's safer.
So there's a difference between potting soil and seed starting soil, or no?
Yes, it's much lighter. It allows the roots to get down in, like, to grow more easily. So this is, let me get into that in a second. This one, so we're going to take this duct tape, and duct tape works the best, and we're going to wrap it around if I can. This is not always the easiest part.
Normally I'd be helping, but we want to show you what not to do.
You've never helped.
Oh, please.
You've never helped with this, have you?
Yeah. Every year
No.
I end up getting hair pulled off my arm because you get all ramjetty with your milk jugs.
That sounds really bad.
Yeah, well, sorry.
That does sound really bad. All right, you ready?
Yeah, that looks good.
So this basically is what it's going to look like as a finished product. This goes outside to do whatever nature's going to do to it. It's going to freeze, it's going to thaw, it's going to allow sunlight in. If it rains or snows, it's also going to allow some limited moisture inside, which is why you want the drainage holes also, because if you get spring rains or you get downpours, you don't want your seeds to drown. So this is it. This goes outside wherever you want to put it. I'm going to go put them in my garden just to protect them from deer smashing them or birds trying to get at the seeds. But anyway, and once it's duct taped really well, you can use the handle again, which is why I incorporate that into the cutting. This process you're going to repeat as many times or as many jugs as you have. Pretty self-explanatory after we do the first one. A note about what you can grow for winter sowing. There are better candidates than others for winter sowing. What do I mean? Well, any seed that you want to start by winter sowing, you want to make sure that it is like cold tolerant. There's keywords that you can look for. One is that it needs cold stratification. So if the seed, like the purple poppies, it needs that freeze and thaw cold stratification to break dormancy, those are the types of seeds you want to do for winter sowing because they can tolerate the frost. They can tolerate the, oh, it's warm out one day and it's freezing the next day. That's what they want. That's like part of their natural cycle. So a few seeds that are good for that. The milkweed. So if you did my giveaway, you also got 2 different types of milkweed. The common milkweed definitely needs some winter sowing. It needs a cold stratification period. If you're going to start these inside to get a jump start on them, I'm going to show you what you can do to mimic the winter and then start them indoors also. But if you don't have a grow light set up and you're not going to start them indoors, you can do them in milk jugs, put them outside. They're going to appreciate this and you're going to have baby milkweed for your monarchs if that's what your heart desires, as mine does.
And what better place to grow milkweed than in a milk jug, right?
It just makes sense, yes. Perfect.
It does.
Also, the tropical milkweed, if you... The beautiful like red and orange milkweed that I bought and grew this year and saved seeds from, I'm hoping that is a perennial, but if it's not, I did save seeds to grow some. Tropical milkweed doesn't generally need cold stratification, so I am going to test it out. I'm going to try to grow some without cold stratifying it and see if I get sprouts, because if I do, then I'm not so sure it's going to come back. But anyway, you know, this is the big mystery for me, right? I can't wait to see if it actually does return. Especially after the season that we're having for winter here. Another one. So you guys also got Golden Jubilee Hyssop. This is an awesome one for direct seeding, which we're going to do with the poppies in a minute. But it's also great for winter sowing. This loves cold. It comes up. It's like one of the earliest perennials to come back in our zone. And this also would appreciate some winter sowing. You'd have good luck. You're going to know these sprouts if you forget to label, because it has lime green seedlings. They're really pretty. They're even pretty as babies. What else? Echinacea will work really well for this. If you want to grow echinacea, they don't need cold stratification, but they prefer it. You will get much more germination out of your seeds if you do winter sowing, or if you provided a cold period prior to planting them. What else? For vegetables, you are not going to want to sow melons, cucumbers, squash, all those heat-loving plants. Do not do those in winter sowing. You're going to want to do things like lettuce, spinach, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, anything that likes those cool temperatures. You can certainly start ahead of time and they will be acclimated to the outdoor temperatures quicker, which means you get a quicker harvest. So like for our zone, onions, for example, onions have to be started now in zone 5, like February, because they take a long time to really get to a point where they're pencil thick, which is when you want to transplant them. For our zone, we start them February, we transplant them out in April, which is actually before our last frost date, because they're cold tolerant. They don't mind the colder temperatures. It helps them establish better. But if you didn't know they get planted before your last frost date, you wouldn't know to start them in February. You'd be starting them, in March, and they really wouldn't be big enough to plant outside to have a successful harvest. So there are some tricks. Find out your last frost date. You can also go on the USDA website and find your last frost date if you're not concerned, or if you're not familiar with what it is. You can also ask your local nurseries. They'll tell you what zone you're growing in. And then once you're experienced growing, you kind of know what you start, because you'll sort of be a creature of habit.
What about sewing the holes in my jeans? Is there a good time to do that?
Never.
Because they've been there for quite a while.
Never, but I can buy you new ones. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good online with the old auctions and the checkout links on the shopping pages. I'm pretty good with that.
You're good at sewing seeds, but not sewing machines.
Yes. I did try. I did make pillows.
And I did throw the sewing machine away.
That was short-lived. I much prefer to sow seeds and plants than pillows. Who would? Who wants? Actually, it's a good winter hobby if you have a sewing machine and you're into that stuff.
I think you still have some guilt over that quilt you tried to make.
Really? Are you rhyming?
Well,
I definitely did not try to make a quilt. So, this is good. This is exactly what we want to do. I hope this experience, I know we were a little chatty, but I hope it's helpful. But if you have questions about the containers themselves, or one part of the process that you didn't quite understand, or I talked too fast, just message, ask the questions in the comments, because that's really how I can get back to you. Or you can send me a message on my Facebook page, either one. But anyway, so yeah, so you have certain seeds in the giveaway. Echinacea, purple poppies, the milkweed, the golden jubilee hyssop. A lot of those, a lot of perennials you can do winter sowing. So if there's something that you love, sweet peas actually are annuals here, but those can also go in winter sowing. Those don't mind the cold. So anything that's cold tolerant, pick your favorites. Calendulas, they'll also benefit from winter sowing or do really well winter sowing wise. Yeah, but you can try it. This is an easy way to sow things that you don't have room for and that you're going to end up keeping in your gardens. So like any perennials are good, or those cold tolerant annuals that you continue to sow every year like I do. Purple poppies are my favorite. So yeah, that's winter sowing in a nutshell, and I'll show you where we're going to put these once I get them all planted up. Oh, I have to put sunglasses on. I
It
can't
is
see.
too cold for this.
Huh?
Too cold.
Cold?
Yeah.
Not cold. It is winter. It's
I think-
February.
I think I want to be dormant.
I think I want you to be dormant too. So look, even though we cut the winter sowing jugs, if you seal them properly with the duct tape, you can carry them. They're ready. So I'm gonna go put these in the garden, because that's where, like, I feel like they're safer. But look at, I have to tell you, we had a huge ice storm and now the sun is shining. Turn around and show them what the trees look like. Is that not gorgeous? Ah,
It's beautiful.
sparkly and amazing. Like, we need to do a garden tour right now, because everything that's above ground is totally shiny and sparkly. Like, this might be a beautiful garden tour, even in February. This is exciting. Leo,
And it's cold.
come on, bud. I mean, look, even my arbor has icicles hanging off it. It's so pretty.
We have so much ice that the snow
I don't know if
doesn't
I can
even
get in
crunch.
here. Oh no, my lock is iced over. So I'm going to leave these here. And in a few days, when the sun has melted the ice off the lock, I'll put them in there. But literally, that's how they stay, just like that. And they stay there until you're ready to transplant them. They're gonna grow, they're gonna be protected. But you wanna walk around for a little bit?
If you'd like.
All right, let's do it. Because this is amazing. I'm sorry, this is just so cool. Like, I mean, it's not cool. Ooh, be very careful, it's fragile. Can you hear it?
I can see it.
Yeah, it's really kind of fascinating to me. Like, everything is just a giant icicle right now. My grapevines, like, I don't know if this is good for any of my vines. Like, is this gonna kill them? I don't know. We don't usually have this kind of stuff. But look at, everything is so sparkly. I am going to enjoy it for now. This is going to get cut back, so I don't really care. But look at, this is just like those things that you can buy to put on your Christmas tree, those little Christmas picks, the little icy branches. It's so pretty, and like, I don't know, it's like we're in a snow globe. We're in a shiny Emma snow globe. She would love this. So pretty. Isn't it fascinating? I think it's fascinating. It's not the most fun, but if it's February and you can get a glittery garden tour, why not? Oh, look, I'm terrible. There's a bird bath that I've forgotten. Ooh, this doesn't look good. Look at this. The ice really took this down. Wow.
It's like an episode of Frozen.
Yeah, I think Elsa went off a little bit much here.
Look at that tree right there.
Oh my, I know, is that not gorgeous? Oh my,
The only thing missing from this video is Emma out here dressed as Elsa.
singing, yes. Wow, this is so amazing though. I hope all the buds survive that. It's like, it's beautiful. Like, if this could have happened at Christmas time, it would have been amazing. Oh, this poor thing. We're a little frozen.
I gotta get around you.
Huh?
I gotta get around you.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, everything kind of looks the same, but oh my, now turn around. Film the trees. Is that not just, I just can't believe it. It's just so pretty. We never get to see this.
It's pretty when you don't lose power.
Well, we haven't lost power. So it's pretty.
That's why it's pretty.
Yes.
Not as pretty as you.
The hydrangeas aren't really, oh, thank you. The hydrangeas are not happy. But these hydrangeas I cut back already. And they're pretty happy. They don't care.
But
oh, look. What?
Shouldn't these plants, though, you know, it's February. They should be prepared for something like this.
Oh, yeah, but freezing rain is really not good. Look at this, the weeping beech. But just look, because all the rain just hit it, and then it froze before it was able to run off.
But doesn't that
cool.
protect it a little bit?
I don't know. They're very brittle right now. I don't think that's... If it was windy, we'd have a lot of problems right now. A lot of problems. Ooh, look it. You hear the cardinal?
He's like, get away from the feeder.
Get off that feeder. Go, 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 go. The squirrels do not care that the bird feeder is completely iced over. I kind of was like, yeah, they're not going to be able to get up on there. Those things are little acrobatic maniacs. And they don't care. Look at it. The birds don't care. How pretty is this? It's like this ice castle, like, shrub. It's just so pretty. The cardinals, if I really sat out here with my camera, my other camera, and took pictures of the cardinals, I would get amazing shots. But I don't have the patience, and it's really cold out.
Yeah, but you have so many shots. What are you going to do with all of them?
I would love to have, like, crystal clear shots of the cardinals. I don't have... They're hard to get because they're very skittish. Look at my red bud. It's so pretty. It's like magical. Is it not magical?
Not really.
It's so magical. I love it.
It's freezing.
Look at, so we got so much ice, you're not even sinking in the ground.
I know, that's the only cool thing I like about this.
Ooh, I hope my tree peony buds are gonna survive. Those are all encompassed. Ooh, Finn is not happy. Look at his face.
I wouldn't be happy either.
He has a few choice words for me, and they're not fun. My maple, look at this. It is cool though. It does make like dormancy look beautiful. Very pretty. Very pretty. It's so fun and glittery. Anyway.
It looks like the deer ate my...
that rhododendron was getting so big and now it is bare. It's not dead. It will come back, but every year the buds go bye-bye.
So much for feeding them carrots. You'd think they would not come and eat all my plants.
Yeah. That's what you feed them and then they come and expect food whenever they want it. That's the problem. And look.
We feed the birds too. What is that?
I need to put something around that. That is a tree peony. Don't do it, Cleo. Yes, protect it. Perfect.
Yeah.
Protect it. Ah! Don't do that. You scare me. Hey.
Only Cleo goes through the snow.
I know. What are you doing? She was hoping I'd have gloves on. She hates when people wear gloves. Stop. If you put gloves on and we're sleigh riding, she comes up and literally nails your face. Like she bites through the gloves. Because my husband thought he was going to make a funny video of her when she was a puppy attacking him. And no, it turned out that she never forgot her role to attack you.
It was one video. It wasn't like we did a sequel or anything.
But that stuck in her little brain and now
please.
She attacks gloves.
Please.
So anyway, but this is beautiful. So I just wanted to show everybody like the sparkle. I don't care if you don't like it. I think it's pretty as long as like, I don't know, we don't get a lot of wind. But it's gonna be -5 tonight. So it's definitely not melting tonight. And then it's supposed to like gradually increase to like mid-30s in the next few days. So it's all gonna be gone. But boy, it is pretty.
Is it ever too cold to make you worried?
No.
So it doesn't matter if it gets 20 below zero.
I mean, I may lose stuff, but most of what's here is pretty established. If I lose it, then it's finicky, and I knew putting it in, it probably would not survive. Like some of the daylilies I bought were 5A instead of 5B zone lilies. So this is probably not good for them, but I took some risks.
Do you think there's any other gardener on YouTube doing a winter garden tour?
Well, it's not really a tour, but it's beautiful. You should. If you have this kind of sparkle and freezing rains episode, this doesn't happen a lot. So you should be doing a video if you have this.
Well,
it's gorgeous. People were posting all over Facebook today pictures of the ice and the sun like glistening through the branches. And you know what? It is a sight to be seen. It's probably really hard to really grasp like the magical just feel that you get when you're out here and the sun is shining on the ice. It's amazing.
I have this magical feeling in my fingertips right now. I think it's called frostbite.
I know. We can go.
Yeah.
But it is pretty. I just wanted to document it. It's beautiful.
That's great.
All right. I would much rather have snow, though.
Yes. Thank you, honey. You're beautiful, too.
Thanks.
My little ice princess. Later.